How many men are really incels?
Have you ever loved somebody and they broke your heart?
Trying to fix my widow's peak and cut in a new hairline. Do you think it works? Damn, bro. Oh, God.
Millions of people have been
Fuck is this video?
asking me, "Hey Gerbert, why are you always talking about all this incel stuff? What, do you not have any bitches?" Here's the thing about this question. It's a very interesting question, in that no one ever seems to ponder the possibility that maybe it's that don't have me. Anyways, I decided to talk to a dating therapist to see if I can find a good match. I don't know, man. I feel like I'm a decently handsome guy. I try to put in effort to my appearance. I work out, whatever. It's just, I don't really know where to start, you know, where to meet girls. I'm just struggling.
Tell me about what kind of girls you're going after. Like, what are you looking for in a woman?
Mixed Asian, half white, half Asian. Big under thighs. Bow! Nice rack. Bing bang. Big tit. Tall. Like, taller than me, 6 foot tall. 130 plus IQ. 32-inch vertical. No tattoos.
He's just like, yeah.
Virgin. Did I say big? I said big rack, right?
You said big racks, yeah.
Yeah, so that's about it.
Women, they date up. So,
man,
what you have to do...
That's a fucked up way of saying no chance.
...is you have to schizophrenia and bipolar disorder.
Yeah.
The type of woman that you want has to have either 2 or 3 of these mental disorders. Everyone with auras, they have a roster. And in order to create a roster, you need to pray after mentally disabled women. Let's be real. You're white. You're pasty. You are milk. You are vanilla. You have 0 flavor. There is 0 seasoning to you. How to manipulate an autistic woman. And
what the fuck
that's where
is
the dark
this?
triad comes in, because the dark triad is quite literally black.
No, you're not advanced yet for the dark triad bedroom game.
When you meet an autistic woman, and this is obviously going to be after you've black maxed, right?
Yeah.
After I have this course, it's going to tell you everything that you need to know about using the dark triad and also the female
I fucking love this. Is amazing.
Triad that I told you about.
This is so good.
And on top of that, it's going to teach you all the tricks that you need to take advantage of the schizophrenic. The full course is going to be roughly $998.86. It is a big investment, but I need you to feel that investment so that you can be invested in this course.
Ooh, I like that. That sounds good.
You may have seen this general social survey graph from 2018.
I saw it.
But you probably haven't seen the updated version of 2022. The older graph shows that male virginity has supposedly skyrocketed since 2012. But the newer one shows that since then it has plummeted. I, like many other people, even recently, surmised that this was an ongoing trend, only getting worse, especially because it was pre-pandemic. Let's just say the rate of growth was consistent. If we would extend the graph to 2022, the number would be around 38%.
That'd be a lot.
But we're coming to find out that maybe it was just a blip. Bald head bitch. Is this whole idea of an ever-growing incel population, women only wanting to
engage with jazz,
leaving many men to be virgins, some sort of illusion? A way of chronically online men to project their own failures onto a larger societal problem? As the saying goes...
Well, in some cases, yeah, absolutely. Not all the time, but yeah, absolutely that's the case. I didn't know that the graph went down. That's good to know.
Misery loves company.
How'd they get a picture of me?
Is there actually a rising virginity rate? Are more and more men becoming incels? How many incels are there actually? You'll find out in this video.
What the fuck
Be sure to like and subscribe. Lookofthedead.com for merch. How is it that in 2018 the virginity rate was almost 1/3 of all men, but in 2022 it plummeted. That doesn't even make sense post.
It does if you think they're lying. I mean, that's the first thing I would think, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like they would have lied on the first one then, you know?
COVID. Well, the truth is that these general social study surveys have quite a low sample size. Better data sets with over 10 study surveys have quite a low
in his sample size.
Sample
so
size.
150
Better data
people.
sets with over 10 times the sample size show that virginity is steadily increasing very marginally. It's not nearly as sensational as the 2018 graph that
it
went
was
viral.
very sensational.
Also, in this graph, the rates between men and women are quite similar and following the same trend. Now, again, these are all surveys. It's not like scientists are running around.
This is a great video.
Gathering the fiber off of these guys' scrotums to actually prove concretely whether or not they're getting laid. Okay, they could be lying. There could be a Hawthorne effect going on here. But it would be dishonest to say that's what's going on with this newer graph when everybody on the internet took the 2018 General Social Survey graph at complete face value. People will, on the internet, latch on to the most sensational, extreme data there is, even though
it's also because more people are talking about it too, right? I think that's another big component. Like right now, everybody I think especially back then, people were talking about like incel shit all the time. And so you see people bringing it up on Twitter all the time. It feels like it's everywhere.
It's far from the best.
Yeah.
And then I did the same thing, drawing all these conclusions. And I mean, there is a slight trend
2008
going
was
on,
whenever Wrath of the Lich King
but it's
came
not that
out.
crazy. In actuality, you might just be a fucking loser. So are incels valid? I guess it depends. If it's just about getting laid, there are a lot of girls nowadays that aren't too picky with that sort of thing. They're very loosey-goosey. They've been hopping on Ween like a daily routine long before the day they've turned 18. I suppose you could call them, well, I mean, I'm pretty tolerant. I would call them free, expressive, but I've heard them been referred to as dirty whore. Point is, if you just want to have sex, I really don't think that itself is that hard. I don't find it to be a remarkable feat. I don't think you have to be a particularly impressive guy. You know, I hate to say the cliche thing, but I've seen a lot of conventionally unattractive guys have success with getting laid a lot. They're just outgoing. This whole chat.
Yeah, I think that definitely is true to an extent, right? If you're more outgoing, you have a good personality, it's going to give you an advantage. I think it depends, like most guys that say this don't really put a lot of effort into it besides like going on the internet and complaining about not having the opportunity to do it. So I think that definitely does happen. You have to have faith in yourself. Well, I think also like a lot of guys that, because you might think that like girls are like stuck up, but I've seen like girls' DMs before, and a lot of guys, I mean, there's a reason why a lot of girls hate men. And like you can read their DMs, and I'm like, yeah, I can see what I can see where you're coming from. Yeah, this makes sense, for sure. People struggle with confidence, they go indoors. Yeah.
Only thing. It basically all comes from data from online dating, which is a sausage fest that shouldn't be taken seriously. The internet bleeds into real life a little bit, but there are plenty of normal people getting together. If you look at the data honestly, or you could just go outside and see them. So how many incels are there actually? Some people would posit that they don't exist, that any man, if he tries hard enough, can find a partner if he just does the right things.
I think for 9 out of 10 people, that's probably true.
If human sexuality is completely moral and fair and there's no genetic factors involved. There are some people, some true cells, they're called,
what?
In the sort of incel vernacular. Men with autism have a very high chance of being a virgin. I don't think it's really people's place to sit there and gaslight these guys when they're on a fundamentally different social wavelength. So they're valid. Life circumstances do produce genuine incels, but there aren't a lot of them. They're actually relegated to the bottom percentages of men.
Yeah, it's like the bottom 10, 20%. I think that's the case with a lot of people, right? And my friend doesn't look at himself at all. His breast stinks, doesn't look toothpaste. He thinks all women are the problem instead of him. He's 100% an incel. Well, I think that that's really the way it is with a lot of people, is that they like to blame the world for the way that they are, rather than look at what they can do to improve themselves. And I think that's usually what happens, is like somebody doesn't want to improve their situation because that's hard work, but it's real easy to say that, well, I'm being held back because of something that's outside of my control. Like, nobody wants to take accountability for shit. Of course, right? It's easier to just blame somebody else and fix themselves. Yeah, 100%. Hygiene's 90%. I tell you for a fact that's true. Yep.
Not like many people would claim that the bottom 80% of men aren't getting any action whatsoever. Even guys that might consider themselves incels or incel adjacent usually aren't going to be that. I'm not even sure if a lot of self-identified incels are even less attractive than the average guy. There are a select few of true cells, but really for most guys, it is a matter of standards. How low are you willing to go?
That's true. Yeah, all these guys want to date a really hot girl. They want to, it's like some guy wants to date some girl that goes to the gym every day. Meanwhile, he never goes to the gym. Well, this seems like a pretty unfair double standard. Yeah, true.
You can go use these apps or go get drunk enough to be sociable and pork a 4. If you haven't, it might sort of eat away at you. Yeah. You might think it's way more impactful and better than it actually is. But if you do it, you realize there's nothing there. It's quite pointless and kind of gross. So I'm not technically involuntarily celibate. And despite what the internet would tell you with cherry-picked bad data, most men aren't. But it's not like these goofy internet words actually mean anything anyways. But does this mean that there are no legitimate gripes? There are no good points?
Well, there's a lot of people on the internet. I think that there's a lot of people that have had a girlfriend before, and they're not really incels, but they had a really bad experience with that girlfriend, so they go online to complain about women. That's what happens a lot. That's what it is, because it's like you have a lot of these guys that are in these communities, and it's not necessarily that they actually hate, or they can't get a girlfriend. It's that they had a girlfriend and they fucking hated her, right? How are they not incels, though? Well, because I feel like if somebody is an incel, it means they can't get a girlfriend. It implies like incel is involuntarily celibate. So if they say, I broke up with this bitch because she's crazy or she's awful, then they're not necessarily celibate. They just don't have a girlfriend. Right? That's it. And also, like, make more money, be in shape. Yeah, that's definitely a good idea.
Raised by these guys. Is dating today completely fine and you're just a loser if you have problems with it? I suppose it would be fair to call me an incel, because when I look at postmodern dating, when I look at the state of relationships today, I do hate it. I do despise almost everything that I see. I think it's deeply twisted and all fucked up. Allow me to define my parameters for a successful relationship. The longest running...
See, to me, that's where I'm at, right? Whereas, like, I don't even really know, like... I mean, a lot of my friends don't... I don't really talk to a lot of my friends about that. Like, I know friends have, like, same girlfriend or they've been married, like, 10 years, right? So I'm not even sure what it's like if you're, like, 21 or something like that. But I bet, like, with social media and everything, that shit's going to be crazy.
Study of human happiness is quite thorough. It's been going on for 70-something years, studying the same sample group. Frequently, There are check-ins. They don't just give these people surveys. They do blood work, brain scans, test every measure of their mental and physical health, which are correlated. What did they find, you ask? Well, people with close personal relationships. Now, the original study group is old now. This is almost always supplied by their life partner, their marriage. People with strong, close personal relationships, by every metric, were better off. Physically, mentally, they felt less physical pain. And with their...
Yeah, because you're not thinking about it. Like, I mean, that's really the reality. Like, everybody knows this. Like, for me, for example, like, I have a situation where, like, I have a headache or something's bothering me, and I go live, and I'm not thinking about my stomach bothering me or something like that, because now I'm thinking about the stream. I'm thinking about doing something else. Like, you know, how many of you guys, like, you're driving, and, like, you just forget about whatever it was because you're busy? Yeah, they just keep them busy. Exactly.
Old age, in feeling this physical pain, they felt less demoralized by the pain. Having a strong relationship, especially as you get older, your body gets weaker, it's quite important for your happiness. According to the longest running study.
Well, I mean, you don't need a study to tell you this. I mean, the study makes sure people are like sure of it, but like anybody could have told you this. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, do a chat poll? No, I'm saying like that's it.
Of human happiness. So with that being said, a successful relationship
makes sense.
Is a lifelong bond with children, most likely sanctioned by marriage. So, what are the chances of this relationship happening? For me,
that's a pretty good sex doll, you know? I feel like this is one of the higher quality ones.
For anyone like me. By the way, I use relationship in quotes.
Oh, it is.
Because that's a new term. It used to just be... oh, there's a girl, we're married. If you think about the term, it's extremely vague. It doesn't actually mean anything. We're in a relationship. And now it's gotten even more vague with a situationship. It doesn't even...
Oh my God.
The relationship is already vague. Now it's a situationship.
Any girl that uses the word situationship is a hoe. Like, that's just the way it is. Everybody knows that.
What the fuck are you even talking about? So how many so-called relationships succeed? Besides all this Chad lookism kind of goofy shit, this is the real black pill. There are two endings to a relationship: breakup and marriage. As high as 85% of dating ends in breakups. 85% of people will have gone through a breakup. The average relationship lasts around 2 or 3 years. People will have gone through about 5 relationships before they get married. The marriage rate is just over 30%. Most people are getting married in their late 20s, early 30s. So yeah, the marriage rate is already quite low, but how many marriages themselves are successful?
I think people don't get married as much now because of financial instability. I think that's the big reason. Like, and I think also, like, social media gives people the idea that they could always find somebody better. So you have, like, the FOMO that's, like, right in front of you all the time with, like, Instagram and Twitter and shit. And I think that you put that together with, like, financial insecurity, and you have people that aren't trying to get married.
Again, success to me includes children. I'll mention here that less than half of Zoomer women even want to have children. 30% of marriages are childless. Childless marriages are more prone to divorce. Another 20% are only children. I'm including this because growing up as an only child is quite sad usually, and it fucking blows. You've probably heard...
Yeah, I was an only child too. I wish I had a brother or sister as well. Like, absolutely. Because, like, especially now that I'm older, like, it's like anything that my parents would need, like, that's on me and that's it, you know? It's like, that's a lot of pressure, man. That's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of stress.
Divorce rate is about 55%. It isn't just the divorce rate, but the amount of marriages that arguably should be divorced on account of certain factors. We can't know the exact number of these because it's much more qualitative, but dead bedrooms, they're just staying together for the kids, they don't want to go through the process of being divorced, so that's not very good. I'm not saying don't try. I'm still going to, but it looks pretty grim. You know, dudes obsessing over looks and not being able to get laid is kind of a chronically online diversion. This in itself is mostly driven by social...
I think it's a problem if you think it's a problem. It's like one of those things where, like, if you go into it and you're expecting that things aren't going to go well because of the way you look, they're probably not going to go well. But, like, if you go into it with confidence, like, I think 100% you're going to have a better chance at it. Like, here's a good example. It's like, how many of y'all have, like, told a joke to, like, a group of people and, like, it went over, like, really, really well and it was great, and then you've told the same joke to another group of people but you don't have that confidence for whatever reason and it didn't go over as well? Right? Like, we all have had this happen. It's like people have... I think that, like, the human perception of confidence and, like, what that means is, like, way higher and way more important than I think people give it credit for. I think a lot of it is, like, subconscious, so you don't even notice it's happening. Hella awkward? Yeah, exactly.
Ineptitude, which is a consequence of a lack of community. And there is a lack of community because there's no family. Family is the prototype for all community. A return to community requires a return to family. A return to family requires a sacrifice in personal action.
Yeah, see, that's why people don't want to do it. Is like, they want to travel the world. They want to go and be famous, be a content creator, be an influencer or something like that. And, you know, like, go, like, advance their career. And, like, that's the reason why. Some kind of true? Yeah, no, it's making sense. No, this guy's great.
People always talk about returning to community, wanting that back. But the truth is, we have been freed from communal bonds and pursuits. There's a tendency to offload the whole problem into something like places not being walkable. Walkability. Well, Tokyo and many parts of Europe are perfectly walkable, and they're facing the same thing. Our libertine modern utopias want all the benefits of tightly knit communities while paying none of the costs.
Well, you got to remember also, like, why we don't have those tight-knit communities anymore. A big reason why we don't have them is because a lot of them were oppressive, and they were, like, massively constraining and controlling. It was religion, right? Yeah, it was a fall of religion. Yeah, there's a reason why we don't have these anymore. There were a lot of bad things about them.
Of individual freedom. It seems to me like there's actually nothing fair or moral about human sexual behavior, and we actually just can't be left to our own devices and expect things to work out. Instead of family formation, we now find a dating scene, which almost inevitably turns into a shit show. A modern date is basically just an interview with a stranger, where you used to be set up in a community where you are...
Bring back arranged marriages. And it's like, really, I'm joking about this, but not 100%. I'm only 95% joking. Because, like, y'all got to admit that, like, if you knew that you were just going to date this girl and then marry her in the future, like, this would probably take, like, there would be a lot of things now that you would not need to be stressed out about. Like, you wouldn't need to be thinking about, like, oh, well, I got to look this way. I've got to start mewing. You know, I want to make sure that I don't lose my hair. You know, all that I got to work out. Like, you don't need to worry about that, right? Because, like, you know, it's already lined up. It's going to be fine.
Know each other. There's nothing weird about it. I know almost inevitably there are going to be people saying, oh, you're thinking about this too much. I mean, I guess it's possible. I never really wanted to. I wish things would just work out, but the reality is the reality. And also a counterpoint, maybe you're not thinking about it enough. It's actually exactly the problem. There's no foresight. There's no planning ahead. It's all just completely reactive. The way we match...
I think people just do that because they want to act like they're doing the thing that they're supposed to be doing, right? It's like life imitating art, imitating life. Where it's like they see movies, they see TV shows, they see people on social media that act this way, and then they want to go and emulate that themselves and project that they're this kind of person as well. Like, I think that's what's going on.
In the West now is all short-term, reactive, responding to things as opposed to long-term planning, which is what it always used to be. Communities, your family, your community actively works planning ahead in matchmaking you. Now you're just on your own. In order to maintain...
Because people used to always find a girl at, like, church and shit like that, too. And, like, now you don't have any of that. Because, like, nobody goes... Like, it's not the same culture as it used to be. So, like, they still do. Oh, yeah, they still do. Absolutely. Like, you go to a church. I remember I've been to church, like, fuck, I went to church, like, one time, like, recently. But that was, like, some other complicated... It was, like, some other personal thing. But, like... When I would go to church, I would see girls with ugly dudes all the time. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, no, but growing up, I went to mass. Like, I had like catechism. Like, I was raised Roman Catholic, and so, like, yeah, it was the whole thing. I had communion and all that shit.
Our civilization.
Not cataclysm. Not
high investment parenting, monogamy, and higher birth rates are required. And none of these things are being met. And for most people, it doesn't even seem like there's an effort for these type of things to be met. So, in this way, it is, in fact, over. Can these things recover? I don't know. Maybe. I'm like 13 years old. I don't have solutions or prescriptions.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen. Like, for social media, the problem is, like, social media has changed a lot of the way that people look at the world. And I think that it's going to take time for people to contextualize that into their life. No way he's 13. He's probably not 13. He's just fucking around, right? But, yeah, he's joking. Yeah, obviously.
But, you know, I'm chilling. It'll be worked out. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, keep on mewing. I'm sure that'll help, you fucking idiot.
Oh, God. Bro, this guy is great. Man, I've never seen his videos before. This is such a great video. Here, I'll give this guy a sub. This is amazing. What a good video. Yeah. Just funny, honest, clever, straightforward. This is so good. There's the video right there. Peak content. It is. Absolutely. He gets it. Yeah, he does. It's really good. I think that as a guy, right? I mean, for me, I think that, like, I've never really been, like, a kind of guy that girls like. And I feel like when I was younger, I would try to do more to, like, look in a certain way. But I basically just gave up, to be honest with you. I did. I gave up a while ago. Because the truth is, I'm a fucking degenerate. And anybody that knows me gonna realize that, you know? Change his life, exactly. Same, yeah, no. But same, but you're rich now? No, that's the thing, right? As a streamer, obviously, people are going to look at you a different way, but you're not going to think that's because of you, right? I mean, like, that's naive. Nobody going to think about that. Funny thing is, women gave up too? Yeah, for sure. Problems in society, people no longer take account for their own actions. I think that's the reality, is, like, a lot of the reasons why people are in a bad situation, in most cases, is actually because of themselves. And you look at a lot of these guys, and it's like, wow, you know, like, what do you, like, you really going to bring a girl over? You've got all these figurines of these girls of questionable age. Like, what do you think she's going to do whenever she sees it? Like, why you have those out? This is in your room, man? Like, why you have that? What are you doing? Never give up. Yeah, some girls are into that. Yeah, but, like, I wouldn't start off like that. I wouldn't start off like that. What the fuck? That's not a good icebreaker, is it? A body pill? Most aren't. Yeah, most aren't. There it is. I think that there is a lot of people that have, like, they're disillusioned with current culture because they feel like they've been put in a position that makes them a loser, right? It makes them, you know, like, not happy and not secure in the place that they live, or the place that they're at. You quick filter them out? Yeah, and I think that's what happens the most, right? Past experiences. Yeah, I think that a lot of people, like, if you want to look at the people that are making a lot of comments about men or women on the internet, almost all of those comments are a result of past emotional unresolved trauma. That's it. That's where they're coming from. And, like, they're mad because, like, they say all girls are whores. Like, no, you don't really think that. Your girlfriend before this was a whore because she cheated on you, right? Like, that's what actually happened. It's the same as, like, all men are trash. No, all men aren't trash. Your dad was trash. You know, like, what are you talking about? Completely agree. Yeah, that's what it is. Dr. K says the same thing about his videos. A lot of incel patients. Yeah. Dating's really hard, to be honest. I really can't tell you. I don't really go on dates or do anything like that. Like, I mean, obviously, right? I've always been, like, a bit of a degenerate. And by a bit of a degenerate, I mean, like, a complete fucking degenerate. You know, absolute animal fiend. You know, no mere mortal can live with Asmongold, that kind of shit, right? These are just plates with food.
Okay.
Yeah, what
I don't know, like the air conditioning, the possums.
I got a new one.
The raccoons.
Well, no, I got a new air conditioning, not a new possum. The what?
Okay, well, what about the mold air?
Just don't look at it.
You are nothing without faith.
It's the